Welcome back to the program. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Today on the program, we intend to take a look at the Israeli-Iranian war and the world order. At the moment, hostilities in the Middle East has reached a boiling point. And as we speak, of course, there are attacks here out, of course, between Israel and Iran. And recently over the weekend, the U.S. also joined in the attacks. And while a lot of people are actually tilting, well, not tilting, now many people are very careful as to which side to support, especially at the moment where the issue stands. But today on the program, we'd like to take a look at these issues. Is this a gradual procession towards a third world war, or are we able to nip this in the bud as fast as possible? We have Eneta, editor, Daily Global News, joining us on the program this morning via Zoom. Thank you, Innocent, for finding time to be with us on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Right,
let's be on the program.
Thank you. Let's start this week. Can you take us through your own understanding of the current impasse between Iran and Israel? Hello, Innocent.
From my own little point of view, Iran and Israel conflict or war that is ongoing is something that would have happened long ago, because the constant threat from Iran to Israel, even when Hezbollah attacked Israel, Hamas attacked Israel, Iran has constantly shown that they have hatred for Israel. So it's a long-awaited war that virtually had happened. And if the crisis is not well managed, it will go beyond the present stage that we are in right now.
Sorry, Joel. Sorry to cut in. Innocent, just going back to what you did say a moment ago, you said is a hatred from Israel, from Iran to Israel. Is this just about hatred, or does this transcend, all of the issues that has been going on in the Middle East, or is it just, or do you think that this is just unwarranted on the part of Iran to Israel?
Yeah, it's a build-up of events over the years.
Okay.
It's not something that just happens. It's a build-up of events. It's like you sitting in your house and somebody and a group of people continually and constantly threatening you. It will get to a period that you will react for your own safety.
Okay.
Regardless of what everybody is saying. And that's exactly what Israel is doing now. They are not waiting for Iran to attack first, because they don't know what the plans of Iran is. And that is why Israel is going in to attack Iran at this point in time, for their own safety, and then for the global world generally.
All right, Jibola.
Okay, are we beginning to see signs of another world war now? And then what is the broader implication of this tussle of ego between these countries?
The implication, there are going to be a lot of economic crisis, because the economy is going to be generally affected. Because now America have joined the war. So the global economy is going to be affected. Iran oil facilities are attacked. The oil price is going to rise. So the global economy is going to witness a lot of turmoil right now, because we're looking at China, Russia, Europe becoming part of the war, taking side with either Israel or with Iran. So there's going to be a global problem. And that's why I said if the war is not properly managed, and America has to be careful with what they say, especially Trump. You should know that they have to do with not just America, but with the entire world. So you have to be careful what you say. But whatever America says is taken as a final look globally on this issue. So the world leaders must find a way to manage it and bring it to a conclusive end, especially if they say Iran has nuclear weapons that must not be allowed to be developed. And if they can actually point it out that the nuclear weapons are there, they should find a way to manage it, find a way to bring it. If not, it will escalate beyond this level at this point. And nobody, no nation will be completely free from it.
So, Innocent, from what you've just said now, and which is one of the reasons why Iran is also miffed about what is going on, majority of the world's leaders that are speaking on this issue are vehemently saying Iran cannot own nuclear weapons. And so if Iran cannot and others can, is that not just some form of injustice happening around there?
Now, if you look at it, they say Iran cannot hold nuclear weapons. One, it's like taking the gun and giving to your son or daughter at home who is not mature enough to handle a gun. If you license a gun in Nigeria and everybody in Nigeria is to hold a gun, it won't be funny. So like what we are seeing across the United States. So every other nation that owns nuclear weapons to a certain point has a level of orderliness. Iran can become more radical and they don't care. And they will do something very nasty. So if the world is saying that Iran cannot hold nuclear weapons, it's actually for the safety of the world. It's actually to protect the world. And so that is why the world must look into it and see that it doesn't happen.
But isn't this a narrative that Iran doesn't want to hear? I mean, why would you say that others can do this and then Iran does not have the capacity or the tenacity to also be like others in, having their own nuclear weapons? If they can also go through all of the checks and balances that others have gone through, is it not just a way of keeping Iran in check? If they also cannot, do this, why is there this narrative about Iran not capable of holding nuclear weapons if they have the powers to?
For me, Iran should concentrate on developing its citizens and build better economy. Like I said initially earlier, if you have in your home and you fold your hands and watch this herdsmen and the rest of the job, like what happened early, and it continues to happen, and nobody can control it. That is, look at what is going on in Belgium. Look at what the herdsmen is doing. Do that as a picture of what Iran can do. If they are given the power to own a nuclear weapon, if they are given the ability to control a nuclear weapon, they can wake up one morning either because they are not happy with you or you don't believe in the ideology of what they believe in, and missiles are released. Iran, the women in Iran don't have the right. A lot of citizens in Iran don't have the right. Their rights are trampled upon. So that even enough is enough reason why they should be managed and not allowed to. Because right now, we cannot say Iran have 100% freedom for basic things to human rights over there. So if somebody that does not give just basic rights to women and to people who do not believe in their ideology, will not allow such a person to hold such immense power. So what happens? It will be very destructive, not just to, but to everybody around and beyond.
Okay, is this enough justification for the United States of America to have done what it did over the weekend on the nuclear sites of Iran? And I also wanted to speak about the non-proliferation treaty of nuclear weapons. So if you are saying Iran cannot do this, why can't you extend the same kind of treatment to North Korea?
What America did over the weekends, America is just doing. Naturally, America is the global police. America is the police of the world. And that's why whether you invite them or you don't invite them, you see America getting involved in something they think is beneficial to them. So America is actually trying to do what they do naturally and in support for Israel. That's what America is doing. Now, the case of North Korea is as good as Iran, but to a certain level, North Korea is not as mad like Iran. North Korea still has their leader, still have one or two persons enlisting to, especially to China. Enlisting to China because most of the North Koreans' aid comes from China. So to a certain point, he listened to the thing that China, and China listened to America, Russia, and other global leaders. So somehow they can manage him. But Iran cannot be managed because they have an ideology. An ideology is not the best. I feel an ideology that does not align with the global treaties and human existence is not the best to be allowed to continue to grow. It will be disastrous.
Okay, Innocent, at the beginning you did say that for this not to escalate, world leaders need to do something fast and mediate in this particular issue. So from your own point, your standpoint this morning, would you say there's any room left for diplomacy? Because I know that before the U.S. attack over the weekend, Iran was open to negotiations, but as it stands, Iran is saying, well, I mean, the U.S. has taken the lead here and taken a side in this particular war. So if there's room for diplomacy, what are your thoughts? What do you think countries that are looking to mediate should be doing?
In every trouble, in every war, no matter how bad it is, there's always room for diplomacy, there's always room for discussion. Yes, America shouldn't have attacked. America should have done what the weekends. What the other leaders should actually be looking at is to find a way to mediate, to avoid further attack from the US. Because the truth is said, America is going to attack more, whether we want it, whether we like it or not. If they don't come directly, they're going to come indirectly. America is going to go all out. So the world leaders from now need to start talking to the US and then reaching out to both Iran leaders and to Israeli leaders, finding the common ground, let Iran open up his system for proper checks and evaluation. If truly there are nuclear weapons, if there are nuclear weapons, what is to be done to dismantle or mitigate and see how it's being managed, to what level of power will Iran be given to operate. So there are rooms for them to negotiate. There are rooms for them to discuss. There are rooms for mediation. And that room has to be harnessed by world leaders, especially Europe. Because at this point in time, Europe has a role to play, being a part of Eneta. So they have to start talking to the US and to the Israeli Prime Minister, Netanyahu, to find a common ground to ceasefire.
Okay.
Okay, how will this development shape the world order? Because over the weekend, the Iranian leader is also talking, saying that there will be consequences for the actions of America. So superpowers like Russia and China, what do you think will be their reaction? And which side of the pendulum are they going to follow?
At this point in time, we can't really make decisions for all, directly pointing fingers to any of those world leaders to take a side with anybody. But nevertheless, China, Russia will certainly come to a roundtable discussion with the US. And certainly this is going to actually affect the global order because the world has become more sophisticated with artificial intelligence and other things. So it's going to affect the way things change. Nobody expected that the Russian-Ukraine war will last till now. Nobody knew how prepared Ukraine was. And that's why, like I tell people, you don't go to a fight not knowing how prepared your enemy is. You may think you are well prepared, and your end point is actually the beginning of your enemy. So world leaders, we have to quickly do something, or else the global economy is going to be affected. And bombing Iran oil facility is not the best for us at this point in time. So for me, they should begin to look at talking to the US.
Okay.
Russia, China should begin to talk to the US. And the US have the ability to control Israel.
So what lessons can the African continent learn from what is going on at the moment? Because Ajibola did ask you, what does this portend for the world order? But then on the continent, and even in Nigeria here, a lot of Nigerians are saying, well, we do not stand with any of the countries warring at the moment. But are there lessons really to be learned from what is going on at the moment? by the continent and others?
There are a lot of lessons to be learned by the continent of Africa. And for me, it's even a good thing for Africa to begin to look inward and begin to develop self and invest in self and become self-sufficient and self-reliant. And that will naturally prepare Africa to become a global hub. See, when there's crisis in the other part of the world, the side that does not have crisis should take advantage to develop, take advantage to look inward and reflect. So Nigeria has a part to play in Africa. Nigeria holds African economy. So Nigerian government should look on how to develop, manage the internal crisis and bring it to the barest minimum and develop their human capital, develop the agriculture and food chain, and be prepared to supply the world as we progress.
Okay.
Okay. So how serious should we take the threats of the Iranian leader saying that there will be consequences for the action of America over the weekend? And in a swift retaliation, according to one of the stories that we read earlier today, the Iranian parliament has reportedly moved to shut the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic checkpoint that handles nearly a fifth of the world oil supply. And this move, of course, sends immediate shockwaves through the global energy market. So how do you think the world is going to react to this? And should we take lightly the statement of the Iranian leader that there will be consequences for the action of America?
The world should not take it lightly, because we already see the consequences. In the next few days, the oil market will grow. The global demand for it will continue. So the world should not take the threat lightly. And that's why they need to act fast for the sake of humanity.
All right, we'll probably have to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Innocent Eneta, editor, Daily Global News, for joining us on the program via Zoom this morning. We appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've been speaking with our guest on the program this morning, and he's taking us through his own thoughts, of course, his perspective on the Israeli-Iranian war and the world order. Jibola, from what he said, this is the time for other leaders to come on board. Far-reaching agreements should be made here and find a way to see how unity can be fostered amongst the warring parties, even though I feel that is a very tall order at this moment because boundaries have been crossed.
Boundaries have been crossed, and I really do not like the role of America in all of these. America should have come out in the open earlier with their body language to show that indeed we are with Israel, not Donald Trump trying to act like what's the name of this animal again? Like a saint. He left the G7 meeting simply because of what America did over the weekend.
Right, and even in that, like I said at the beginning, even some Republican lawmakers are against what happened because according to them, that was not vetoed. And to them, it was a surprise attack. And the U.S. had no business carrying out that attack. And even at the moment, even as much as a lot of people kept saying, a lot of countries, even most of the European Union countries are asking that, are vehemently even saying that Iran cannot own nuclear weapons. And that was the question I put to Innocent. Why can't Iran own nuclear weapons? And you keep saying Iran cannot be trusted with why should other countries?
But you can trust North Korea.
Oh, you can trust Israel with these things. Because again, sometimes we have this, there's just this mindset about, things that certain people are higher or certain people are lesser. Are we not all humans?
We are.
So if there are, and there is a regulatory body. The IAEA is there. If there are laws to be guided, then you sanction them if they flout any of the laws. Rather, and you know how, since when this thing has been, Iran cannot own nuclear weapons. Iran, is it only Iran?
I don't really know what America or Israel is hiding. And there is a treaty when it comes to owning nuclear weapons So why they have suddenly turned the world to animal farm,
I don't know.
where some animals are more equal than the other, is what I really do not know. They should go and try what they are trying with Iran, with North Korea or South Korea.
You know, those ones are even quiet at the moment. So let's see how this will. I know that, you know, it's a dicey situation at the moment.
It is.
And it is one that, if not properly nipped in the bud, is going to further put everybody on their toes, further impoverish people, and further put a lot of hardship, because as we speak, we're already thinking of price of crude. Iran is also looking at ways to cut off supply and stop production. So these things, you know, we're not even out of the Ukraine-Russia war.
Yet.
Putin is somewhere smiling, happy that at least attention is shifting gradually away from him, even as much as he's also dealing with Ukraine. But these things are things that are able to spark up more reactions. But America in all of this needs to be more diplomatic.
I hope so.
Needs to be more, even if we know that you're backing Israel, tread with caution.
And don't make it too obvious. And you know, cocky Trump over the weekend, it was shoulders up, saying that, okay, America had never done this kind of thing before. They hit the nuclear sites of Iran. And you see, whether we like it or not, America is powerful. But because of this oil thing, they will be forced to sit on the same table with Iran and negotiate.
All right, well, we'll have to leave it here this morning. And just like Ajibola said, there are treaties to be signed, even though Iran is even part of a particular treaty, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And so if they break any law, or if they are found wanting, they can be sanctioned in all of these issues without necessarily asking them not to, you know, do certain things. I mean, Iran is a country.
It is.
And it has a leader. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, Debingbe and Joy will be here with their conversation.